For years, I used to think that the camera is what defined me as a photographer. And as useful as a good camera is, what really helped elevate my own photographs was learning the lessons that were hiding in plain sight in the work of Ernst Haas. How's it? So Ernst Haas, if you've not heard of him, oh my God, he is like an awesome photographer. And I've got a piece from his website here that explains who he is. So Ernst Haas is acclaimed as one of the most celebrated, influential photographers of the 20th century. He's considered a pioneer of color photography. That he is a master at capturing mood, of creating visual poetry. And he can do that because he knows the language of photography. And once I learned those words, it helped me put into images what I was feeling. First and most important aspect that he taught is motion. Ernst Haas used Kodachrome, which I think had an ISO rating of like 25 or something. So it was really slow. And in fact, there's a story goes around that when he was experimenting with making it work for him, he took it to the lab. They brought it back and said, "Oh, Ernst, we're terribly sorry. Your pictures are all mucky and they've gone wrong because they were blurry," which goes to show what people were thinking about blurry photographs at the time. Now, when I look at his pictures, especially these pictures of the horses, this is not about blur. This is not about, using the wrong shutter speed. This is about feeling. It's about a mood. This is so important with Ernst's photographs, that they all use a technique to convey a feeling. And in this case, with the horses and the rodeos and the sailboats, they all suggest a concept of something rather than just a solid representation. The horses, they could look stunning standing there on the fields, but when they're moving like this, when they're abstract, when they feel like a painting rather than a photograph, we can start to feel their mood, the wide open space, the freedom, the power, the grace, the beauty of these images and of the subjects inside them. When you look at the city, the layering of the pedestrians and the cars and the other people and the signs, this is giving us the idea that this is a city that never sleeps. This is a city that's always in motion, is always busy. What better way to convey that overwhelm that you often get if you go to a big city when you're not used to them? In my own photographs, I've used motion often to convey a feeling like this is more of a ghostly environment, that there's something a little bit otherworldly going on in there. So think about how you can use motion in your own photographs to get something across that you want to share with the viewer. Hang on a second. Before we go any further, I just wanted to share an African proverb with you that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. Learning the language of photography is so much easier when you have somebody to help you, guide you on the right way. And if you wanted to get some one-to-one feedback with your photography, there's a link in the description box below where you can schedule a call with me. And also when you do schedule one of those calls, you get a year's subscription to the TPE tribe included, which gives you access to a wonderful amount of awesome people, some resources, interviews, challenges, all that kind of good stuff that's going to help you develop your own photography, make you a more competent photographer. So if you're interested, click on the link in the description box below. And now back to Ernst Haas. We can't have a conversation about Ernst Haas without talking about color. And his photographs are shot full of gorgeous colors. But you need to think about color as a subject by itself. A lot of this work of Ernst Haas, it feels somewhat abstract, and that's fine because I like abstract photographs as well, and you can sort of see this in a lot of my personal work, although I predominantly photograph in black and white these days. But it's about recognizing lumps of color. There's a difference, I feel, in just photographing in color and then photographing color itself. And this is best illustrated in a picture with these gondolas. It's sort of about the gondolas, but what I love the most are these shades of green. It's about green, the color. If you blur your eyes, that's what you see the most is that colorful, vibrant feeling that just sweeps over the whole image. You can practice this yourself. Go out this afternoon and have a look around you. Try and find color. Not color to take a color photograph, but color as a subject. We move on to light. Now, light, of course, is at the heart of photography. Without light, we're not going to take any photographs. But there's a difference between just having light that illuminates a subject. This kind of idea of passive light is not really playing a great role. And then light that actively brings a subject to life. And Ernst Haas uses this beautifully. Obviously, in the motion images, light plays a major role because it's smearing all over the frame. But here, in these photographs, look at what light's doing when it is outside, leaking through the window, through these net curtains. It's bringing a whole bunch of ideas into play. We've got texture, we've got shape, we've got form. These are all important aspects that we can use in our photography, especially texture. I don't have to tell you that's a carpet for you to feel the carpet feeling in your fingers. It helps bring the images alive. And we can look at texture in a little bit more detail later on. But in terms of color, in terms of light, look at this wonderful, beautiful photograph. It's a swimming pool. The light is reflecting in the water. There's color in there. There's some shape. All of these aspects, can you see how hiding in front of you, you think, okay, even though we haven't got like what we consider to be normal light or useful light, it's still light that when it's handled correctly, when you recognize what it's doing, looks holy poop awesome. So light has this wonderful quality when we look at objects. It gives them form, helps to give them a bit of depth. Look at this photograph here. What do you feel when you see this picture of this snow? I see anatomical figures. I see a marshmallowy feel. It makes me feel relaxed. It makes me feel soft. It makes me feel squishy because of the gentleness of those curves. The light is doing that. But this, the photograph of the rose, it feels a little bit different. It's a bit more energetic. The form is a bit more angular. And you couple that with the color and you get a really vibrant, exciting, energetic photograph. In my own photographs, I think about form and I think about shape a lot. The shape we're going to look at next, but those two are the main components that when you are walking around, that's what you can be looking for immediately. It helps to make sense of your environment. You can find these things just by squinting, defocusing the camera, blurring whatever it is that you're looking at. So these three ideas, shape, form, and color, will reveal themselves to you. It makes our lives so much easier as photographers. I mentioned shape a couple of times. So what is shape? How's it different to form? Well, form is like a 3D aspect. What do you see in this quite stunning image? There's a little bit of form on the building, but predominantly there is a shape. The jagged line, it looks like a lightning bolt that goes down to a little splash of red from a traffic light. It looks like a giant exclamation mark. That's shape at work. Think about it in very practical senses of like a silhouette, but it doesn't have to be something that is as dramatic as that shadow on the skyscraper. It can be the same as, look at this, right underneath Ernst Haas's feet. There's a splash of oil on the water there. It's made what a fantastical shape. And of course there's color in there as well. It's just like so many aspects. Can you see? When you start recognizing this stuff, it's like there's photographs everywhere. As soon as I realized that if I wasn't just looking for like major moments, but starting to look for simpler things like shape and light and color and texture and, form, it made the process of finding photographs so much more rewarding, because I felt like I was seeing things that people didn't see. And that leads us on to texture. So many people don't think about texture in their photographs, but it plays a hugely important role. Think back to the photograph of the television with the net curtain and the carpet. I don't need to explain those feelings to you, the tactile nature of those things, because you understand them. If I show you a book, right, you can feel this because you understand what it feels like to hold that. That's what texture does. It brings another element to the photograph that gives it quality that feels like something. This image here, the two gentlemen pulling up the signs, the C and the H and stuff, it's not a photograph that immediately grabs me. But then I look at it and I think, you know what I really like about this? I love all of the lights, the little light bulbs in the picture. I love this weird background that it has, these sheets of something that feel like they've been put together. All of that makes the photograph interesting. It holds my attention. It pulls me in because it's something that my mind, my body, my fingertips can respond to. So if I show you pictures of mine that are all about steel and concrete and chrome and stuff like that, you can feel those. So it helps to give the images a little bit more depth. There's a wonderful quote by Ernst Haas that somebody reminded me of in the TPE tribe recently that goes along the lines of, Ernst doesn't want to see new things. He wants to see things new. When you take these ideas, motion, color, form, light, shape, texture, and you start looking for those aspects within the things that are in front of you, then we start to see things in a whole new way. And if you want to further your appreciation of the language of photography, to be around other people who understand what it is that we're doing here to try and elevate our photographs, then come and check out the TP Tribe. There's a 7-day free trials down in the link underneath us in the description box. And remember that perfect photographs don't necessarily stick with people, but the ones that feel like something, well, those photographs last forever. And that is what Ernst Haas understood. Thank you ever so much for watching. It's been awesome to have you here, and cheerio.